History often remembers kings and emperors as men born into power. But some leaders rise from nothing and change the world through ambition, intelligence, and will. This is the story of Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who began as a simple soldier and rose to become Emperor of France. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 on the island of Corsica. It was a small, rugged island in the Mediterranean Sea, far from the great centers of power in Europe. His family was not wealthy. They were minor nobles, but they lived modestly and struggled to survive. From an early age, Napoleon felt like an outsider. He spoke with a strong accent. He was smaller than many of his peers. Other children often mocked him. But Napoleon possessed something rare, an intense hunger to prove himself. He found comfort in books, especially those about war, history, and great leaders. He admired men like Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar. In their stories, Napoleon saw a future for himself. At just 9 years old, Napoleon was sent to a military school in France. Life there was strict and unforgiving. He was bullied and isolated, but he did not give up. Instead, Napoleon studied harder than everyone else. While others rested, he read battle maps and studied strategy. War, to him, was not chaos, it was a science. By the age of 16, Napoleon became a commissioned officer in the French army. He was young, inexperienced, and unknown. But France was about to change, and so was his destiny. The French Revolution had overthrown the monarchy. The country was unstable, divided, and threatened by enemies on all sides. France desperately needed strong military leaders. Napoleon saw opportunity in the chaos. His first major moment came during a violent uprising in Paris. Rebels threatened the revolutionary government, and panic spread through the city. Napoleon acted decisively. He ordered artillery to fire and crush the rebellion in minutes. It was a harsh decision, but it worked. The government took notice. Soon after, Napoleon was promoted and given command of the French army in Italy, a force that was poor, hungry, and discouraged. What happened next shocked Europe. Napoleon led his soldiers with speed, intelligence, and boldness. He attacked quickly, surprised stronger enemies, and won battle after battle. He did not command from a distance. He marched with his men, shared their hardships, and inspired fierce loyalty. To his soldiers, Napoleon was not just a general, he was one of them. News of his victories spread back to France. Napoleon became a national hero. But victory on the battlefield was not enough. Napoleon wanted control. In 1799, he returned to France and took part in a political takeover. The government collapsed, and Napoleon emerged as the most powerful man in the country. He did not call himself king. Instead, he took the title of First Consul, but everyone knew who truly ruled France. Over the next few years, Napoleon strengthened the nation. He reformed laws, improved education, stabilized the economy, and restored order. The people admired him. The army obeyed him. And slowly, power concentrated in his hands. In 1804, Napoleon made a decision that would define his legacy forever. In a grand ceremony, surrounded by nobles and church leaders, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of France. He did not wait for approval. He placed the crown on his own head. Napoleon Bonaparte had risen from soldier to emperor. As emperor, Napoleon dominated Europe. His armies defeated powerful kingdoms and reshaped borders. For a time, he seemed unstoppable. But power began to change him. Napoleon believed he could not fail. In 1812, he made his greatest mistake, invading Russia. The Russian army retreated, drawing Napoleon deeper into the frozen land. Then, winter came. Cold, hunger, and exhaustion destroyed his once great army. Thousands died without ever seeing battle. Only a broken force returned to France. Europe sensed weakness. Napoleon was defeated and forced into exile on a small island called Elba. But ambition still burned inside him. Napoleon escaped, returned to France, and reclaimed power for a final time, a period known as the 100 Days. His enemies united against him. At the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon faced his final defeat. This time, there would be no return. He was exiled to St. Helena, a remote island in the Atlantic Ocean, far from Europe and power. There, Napoleon spent his final years in isolation, reflecting on his rise and fall. In 1821, he died at the age of 51. Napoleon Bonaparte's life is a powerful lesson. Ambition can lift a man from obscurity to greatness. But unchecked ambition can also lead to ruin. He was a brilliant leader, a fearless commander, and a man of extraordinary will. He rose as a soldier. He ruled as an emperor. And he fell as a reminder that no power lasts forever.